Hey, welcome back to Get Down to Business. Joining us today is a leader who's proving that you don't have to quit your life to build a business. I'm joined by Vale Siegrist, who is a senior manager of customer success. She's had a career spent scaling early stage ventures and leading retention systems. And she is building the Circular Club, a venture grounded in revenue discipline from day one rather than subsidized venture capital. Doing all of this while leading operations at a major ed tech company and raising her young daughter. Welcome to the show, Val. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Many founder stories start with I burned the boats and quit my job. You've taken a very different path. Why do you believe the all in narrative is often more of a cultural trap rather than a business necessity?
Oh, wow. Um, this question takes me to 10 years ago when I launched my first startup, or my first company that it was selling vegan arepas. And it was all about investing. Friends and family lent me money and I was able to pull up the shop. So after a lot of lessons learned in that venture, I decided that this time I needed to do it differently. And being financially responsible was one of my first priorities. Not from the sense of that I didn't want to invest, but that if I was investing, I was looking for that ROI.
Absolutely. And you lead customer operations for an ed tech company while building Circular Club. How did your expertise in customer retention change the way you architected your own business from day one?
So from an operational side, everything that I build, I want to build it systematically. I'm thinking a lot about how do I scale, what operations can I automate so I don't have to be the one clicking and pushing the button every single time. And from a customer retention perspective, I know that building a customer base that loves you and follows you is the most important thing. So I put my customers first, my mom's first, and I'm in touch with them, and I build a relationship with them, and that helps me continue growing circular.
And I've heard that you advocate for sustainable growth over hyper growth. At what point, Valley, does a founder know that slowing down the tempo is actually a competitive advantage for their long-term legacy?
I'm going to answer with a non-answer, and is that I am picking that for my own mental health. I know that I couldn't afford to leave my job to build circular, so I had to find a sustainable way to build circular at night, when my daughter is asleep during nap time, in a way that is not gonna put my family at at risk, or gonna put my daytime job at risk. So part of that sustainability comes from that angle.
Yeah, and I want to stick with that actually because your story is inspiring. We talk often about the reservoir of energy on the show, and as a working parent and a founder, how do you manage your internal operating system so you don't hit burnout while wearing three high stakes hats?
So I developed a system where I know that I did a good job if I did two important tasks a day. So I work with Notion, I have my calendar, and when I hit two tasks, I close my computer and I go to bed. And sometimes that is one task, and that's okay. But I always say that that comes also from being in a good financial place for myself. What I know that I'm not putting my daughter's future in jeopardy if I don't close one more sale. So I'm building circular from a place of joy and pleasure, and that allows me to put mental health first.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I'm curious, what does a business model that's structurally designed for family life look like in practice? And how is it
Yeah.
different from a business that just tries to balance it?
So my business model is a subscription model. It has 3 tiers, and the 3 tiers come with different benefits for moms. The most popular is the $40 package that brings 5 different outfits that moms can exchange on a monthly basis.
No, that's awesome. So finally, if a listener is currently sitting on a big fake I put that in quotation marks, but they're afraid to start because they can't afford to quit their day job. What's the very first revenue focused action that they should take tonight?
My suggestion will be to start with a pilot like I did. I put my price point at a very low price, so it only covered costs. And it let me see her mom's interested in joining. And after I had a mom's joining the pilot, I knew I was ready to go to my next step.
Awesome. Well, I want to give the final word over to you. Again, I've been chatting with the amazing and inspiring Vale Siegrist, customer operations expert, and she's been building the circular club of venture grounded in revenue discipline from day one rather than subsidized venture capital. We've talked a little bit about the mechanics of sustainable growth, the reality of working parent entrepreneurship, and why the traditional startup narrative might be more culturally glorified than structurally necessary. Vale, how can we get in touch with you?
Our website is circularmomclub.com, and you can see our catalog there and subscribe.
Fantastic. Well, I really appreciate you coming on. Please continue to keep us posted on your growth, on the development of your company, and of course, again, balancing 3 awesome and important roles. We appreciate you squeezing a couple of minutes in for us here. We're going to squeeze in a quick break here on the show, all about small business jobs and entrepreneurship. As always, get on my website at shalomklein.com, but don't touch that dial. We'll be right back.